Mmm. Stolen AI artwork. Just kidding. That's Jenna Ortega from, yeah, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. It's Kal Kat. The Kal Kats are in this. It's not really. It's a fake. Printed off the. This is the Kal Kat, the Kal Katster, and the review of Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. The sequel to Beetlejuice, 35 years later. The original Tim Burton movie was an experiment in some of his weird musings back then. And his signature stuff comes from the Beetlejuice movie, more so than the Batman before it and all that other stuff. So, yeah, it was Beetlejuice, Batman, Beetlejuice, the Batman Returns, and other stuff that he did out of Tim Burton. He went mainstream with Disney with some of those Alice in Wonderland movies and the Dumbo movie, but now he's gone back to his roots and done a goofy homage to the original Beetlejuice movie. Yeah. Actually, it is a pretty good sequel. It's not. It really isn't. Yeah. I mean, there are member berries in it, but unlike the Munsters movie, which had the member berries didn't make sense, they do in this movie because it's sort of. I would say it's more of an homage to Tim Burton in general than an homage to just Beetlejuice. He throws in other stuff in there. Just to pay homage to himself. Yeah, there's references to his other movies, the Alice in Wonderland, the Nightmare Before Christmas, which he only produced. There's homage to Corpse Bride in there, although she technically is not the Corpse Bride. It's misleading in the story. It makes it look a little like she's more like she's similar, but she's not supposed to be the Corpse Bride. She's supposed to be someone else that's introduced in there. We have Lydia and her daughter. We have Lydia. Well, Lydia is now would be 50 something, and Michael Keaton would be 70 something, and we'd have the characters doing their so basically the story as it goes in the story is for about 15 years the character of Lydia Dietz has been doing a psychic palm reading type of Sylvia Browne type show where she talks to the dead and whatever is that, and she hates it, and her manager is obviously a sleaze who wants her for her money, that wants to take the money and stuff. It's really obvious in that particular story, and is rushing the whole thing and trying to make the show more sensational. And her grandfather dies on her mother's side, so they've got to go back to their hometown, which is the hometown where the creepy house is from Beetle River Junction or whatever it was from the first one, and they got to go back to the town. And if you've seen the trailers and stuff, yeah. Also, we see earlier stuff where in the goofy afterlife where we have not only Bob, the shrunken head man, but several other of his employees down there. He's still smitten for her 30 years later, even though he's age 2. Beetlejuice is age 2, which is, well, obviously it's Michael Keaton. They couldn't de-age him. That wouldn't make sense. But he's, yeah, that universe really doesn't make sense. But then again, a ghost demon ghoul that can literally spill his guts or make his face go blah, it doesn't make sense either. So why not? You can forgive it for having goofy check your brain at the door gags in it. It does pay homage to the sand snakes and the beetle snake and all that twice, but and it does pay homage to the guts and the face thing, but it does, and the Beetlejuice thing. There are moments from the other stories, but yeah, this is pictures of us off YouTube. Anyway, no. So there's it's not for sale or anything. I'm just kidding around. It's a picture they printed off the internet. It's don't worry about it. Anyway, so it's one of the actresses from it. Anyways, Beetlejuice, he doesn't really want to go back to to the afterlife, but he wants to see Lydia again, but now she's in her 50s, and this other stuff is going on, but he's really more concerned about avoiding his ex-wife, who he married after the Black Death hundreds of years ago, 1,000 years ago, 1,500, 600 years ago. When would that have been? Anyway, a long time ago, 1,000 years ago. Okay, so one of those Black Deaths, one of them. Yeah. And then because he's evil, she was a succubus of some kind, and a soul sucker, as they said in the story, and she poisoned him, but before he died, he managed to chop her up, and then her parts reassemble in the modern day in the story, in boxes. Hapless janitor guy played by Danny DeVito's in there. There's a movie cop played by William Dafoe, who is either spoofing T.J. Hooker and Chips or spoofing Cowpoke, which would be fun as both an homage and fun. So I'm okay if he's spoofing Cowpoke. That's fine. But no, it's probably T.J. Hooker that he's making fun of. They couldn't get William Shatner. That would have been too much overacting, I think. And some fans are saying, oh, William Dafoe should totally be the next Skeletor in the next live-action He-Man movie, if they ever make that. But really, no, Mark Hamill's better choice. William Dafoe is similar, but no, it doesn't work. No. Front of the I said he's a scad too old to play that. Yeah, it's funny the way it is, but. So we have typecasting of Jenna. Here, Jenna's in it, and we have typecasting of that because she was Wednesday Addams in the Wednesday thing, but the OG Wednesday Addams would have been the '90s Wednesday Addams, who was Christina Ricci, who was not in this, and then Thora Birch was confused for her in the early 2000s, but that was not her either, and that wasn't even a remake. It was just another movie, Ghost World. There are homages to these other movies that weren't anything to do with Tim Burton, but I'm sure he had inspired in some cases. There was even General take it. So we have another blanking on half the actors' names. So there's an older grandmother lady that's nuts. They go to the thing and she can tell the boyfriend Roy guy is a dick, and he's just using her, and so to the daughter, she's also using her. He wants to get married immediately after the funeral, which is twisted enough, on Halloween, which is okay. But yeah, Halloween enters in there. Some of the jokes from the trailer are out of sequence in the movie. So that part where she does the speech and at first says, oh, don't ever say that name Beetlejuice, it was on a card. And then later on she says, oh, when I was 16, this demon called Beetlejuice showed up. And she's saying that to two different people. In the movie, she's saying it to her daughter, who is up in the attic and finds the old house and finds the Beetlejuice thing. And the second part about the demon guy is explained to the boyfriend, which was probably a bad idea. Because the boyfriend then calls Beetlejuice, thinking it's not going to happen, it isn't real. Then they're sucked into the Beetlejuice land, where he discovers that, oh, it actually is totally real. There are ghosts and creatures. What I want to see is a Ghostbusters crossover with Beetlejuice. But Beetlejuice is Warner Brothers, and they won't do that. Ghostbusters is Sony. It'll never happen, but it'd be funny. Somebody should go for Halloween. They should have a group go for Halloween with a Beetlejuice and Lydia and the daughter, and then the other one should play Ghostbusters. that should happen as Halloween, because really the Ghostbusters movie was several months ago, and it's the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and really it's not in anymore, but we'll see about that later. Anyway, so here's Afterlife, and yeah, there were some here's Beetlejuice 2, Beetlejuice So yeah, and I do reference him in the Trekkie convention story just to be funny, because it was gonna come out soon. But yeah, he doesn't appear in that one. He doesn't appear in my Star Trek fan film at all. But in this one, the daughter runs off after the faux wedding announcement thing, and meets up with a loner boy type of character who you just know is similar to the Frozen Empire plot. Actually, very similar idea. Girl befriends strange character, and then realizes the strange character is a ghost and is actually evil and does something evil that can go to the afterlife. Same plot, same story arc, really. And I didn't catch it this time though. They did a swerve, and they did it in this one, and I didn't catch it at first. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I figured it out like as she goes up to the room and he doesn't want to eat the candy. Then I figured it out before they did. And I didn't say anything. I was like, oh, okay. They're gonna take the Ghostbusters Afterlife. They're going to take the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire route and say, oh, she's got to go join the Afterlife for some reason. They have to go rescue her. Yeah, that's kind of what they did. So yeah, we have 2 movies that do that. But yeah, maybe they should team up. Phoebe and what's her name should team up in the movie. Yeah. Astrid. That the character's name is Astrid. The actress is named Jenna. Okay, Astrid. Should have figured out. Saturn's moon is mentioned as where the beetle snake is. They didn't have to confirm that there was a planet, a real planet in that. It could have just been a realm somewhere. They threw that line in there. Oh, it's one of Saturn's moons. It could only be Titan. That'd be interesting. I don't know if they threw that in there. Maybe there's a cameo by Neil deGrasse Tyson in there somewhere or something. But if they're in the afterlife, oh yeah, and the afterlife train is a nod to Soul Train, but it's also, which apparently Burton really loved that, Scatman Carruthers Soul Train, referencing a guy who played a Transformer in Transformers. She played jazz in Transformers, and that's actually kind of funny. Who hosted Soul Train. And that also is a reference to several old B movies. There's a lot of in-jokes to other B movies. I think that's why it works, is because there's a lot of in-jokes to other horror movies and things, and goofy. There's a dead, the kid's mother is dead. They show the dead lady, and they have the boy. He died because he's crazy. There's an egg beater stuck in the lady's face like a board. There's a Star Trek in there. There's a guy with a saw in his head, like in one of the Evil Dead movies. But yeah, there's a lot of references to things in there. Yeah. Also, the snake charming part was funny. I won't give away everything because there were some gags in there that were funny. I won't give away that one because that's pretty funny. So yeah, there's. It kind of works. It's like a reunion special of not only the original classic 1980s movie, early 90s movie, but the cartoon show. And it's actually referenced in the movie that she had a cartoon show, and then afterwards she was a medium for ghosts and stuff, and doing that for 15 more years. That's actually kind of funny. That's in there. So the cartoon Beetlejuice is canon. That's awesome. We used to watch that back in the day. It features that infamous, horrible dad joke that I still remember, which was Edgar Allan Poe shows up looking for his lost Lenore in an episode of the show, and he goes, "I'm Poe." And they're all, "Oh," and Beetlejuice goes, "I don't have any money," and he goes, "Not that, Edgar Allan Poe." It's so bad, but yeah, I don't think that was Michael Keaton doing that voice in the show, though. I think it was somebody else. Yeah. I don't think it was Winona Ryder either. I think they had somebody else, Tara Strong or something. But anyway, so yeah, the ghost of the most is Beetlejuice, because they didn't want to spell the star correctly, Beetlejuice. And Beetlejuice explodes, as he should, because Beetlejuice is exploding, which is funny. But yes. Look up for Babyjuice as well. And the horrific baby appearance crawling around. It's a demon baby. A couple of scenes where that happens. I won't give that away either because that's a Kal Kat scene, and I don't want to give the Kal Kat scene away. There's 2 Kal Kat scenes. Yeah, they're quite like, dang. Why? It even has it even kind of has the twist ending, Newhart ending, which is identical to the ending of our Mark's Cards, and I thought the ending of Big Bang Theory, which they didn't do. So they didn't want to do this. No, we're not going to do that. That's too much like Newhart. We don't want to do that. So there's a Newhart ending. Get it out of the way. And I included the Big Bang Theory ending referenced in that Star Trek thing that I just did. And then I cut it out because I thought, why would they be referencing the Big Bang Theory ending that they didn't happen on the planet when they weren't in it or weren't involved? I cut that out. So I'll include it here. And the Big Bang Theory ending that we thought of, that they were never going to produce, would have had Leonard and Sheldon. Leonard and Sheldon waking up, discovering that the entire show was a dream, and that they had bad Chinese food the night before, and they were in fact a couple, and there was none of those other people existed. No girlfriends, no babies, nothing. The Beetlejuice movie has a similar scene. We ripped off ours from Newhart, and so did Burton. I won't give it away. I kind of did, but I'm not giving it away. That isn't exactly what happened. It's not Chinese food that caused it. Yeah. Yeah, so Beetlejuice. I'm assuming that it took them 35 years. They're not making another one. They're not making a part 3. Yeah. It had cult status, though. It was. I don't think at first it was altogether received in super high regards when it first aired. I mean, they made a cartoon series out of it, but they made a cartoon series out of everything back then. Rambo and all sorts of things. Aliens. But yeah, it's not. It isn't. And I didn't get a poster either, so I printed up a picture off the internet instead. Anyway, my picture. Somebody needs to go. I'm not going to do a Beetlejuice costume. That's okay. I don't own the outfit or anything. I'm not doing that. Yeah. So yeah. They showed yesterday the trailer for the Minecraft movie dropped. Today they showed it in the theater in front of a large audience. What was the audience reaction to a Minecraft movie? Silence and befuddlement. Silence and befuddlement. No gasps, no laughs. Just, what the hell is that? Scream. Don't know. Don't know what to make of that. And they really thought it was clever to have that one guy have the girl reference that toolkit as toolkit. Or tool bag. Steve. They thought that was really clever that he says Steve in there. They thought that was the best line, ripping off Monty Python. But you call me Tim. Same idea. But yeah, it didn't work. The audience was like, what? Tool bag? What? What? It was interesting that there were a couple of F-bombs in this movie, and they bleeped them out in the movie. At one point, Beetlejuice blatantly says an F-bomb, and it's all beep. They originally go for an R rating with this movie, and they were like, oh, we have to cut to make it PG-13. Raleigh. As he does that voice. Raleigh. Why would you cut the rated R part out? I mean, I literally threw my intestines at the camera. Oh. It's obviously it's rated R. Come on. Actually, it wasn't too terribly dark in those scenes. It was a little dark, but at least you could kind of see it. Unlike Star Trek Picard Season 3, it was very hard to see it because they decided to film it cinematically in the dark. And that wasn't a horror movie, technically. Although maybe you could argue the first 4 episodes kind of were, because of Vedic, but still. And Alien Romulus also being a horror movie with a similar birth scene, actually. It's in Beetlejuice and not so much in Frozen Empire, but in Alien Romulus there's a similar gross birth scene. So I guess the gross birth scene is like, oh. There's actually kind of 2 of them in the Beetlejuice movie. I'm not going to give things away, though. I'm trying to think give things away. Clearly a metaphor for something. What drives the netherworld in that universe? It's like, if the ghosts can just go into the real world and get a spell book and enchant people into it to just go visit them or something and then join them, that create an awful paradox. And also, there's a scene in which a bunch of influencers get sucked into their phones and we never hear from them again. So Beetlejuice essentially murdered an entire group of influencers. Like in that awful Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Did the same thing. Same gag as that. That was odd, because that was a bus in that one. A bus of influencers. I didn't even bother reviewing that, but it's stupid. Yeah, like there would be YouTubers in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's just, what? Why would they, no. Well, in this context it makes sense, because Astrid is supposed to be like a post-millennial Zoomer. So that makes sense. Okay, she's a post-millennial Zoomer. That kind of makes sense. And the grandmother was an art lady, mocking probably Yoko Ono, who does those like body, who did those old art things years ago, and also the lady from Sorry to Bother You, the classic movie, now cult classic movie about the phone service black guy and his girlfriend. She was a performative artist, like paint herself to look weird and then do stuff to herself. It's a kind of artist. Yeah, it's like a self-performer. What is that term? I don't know what that term is, but it's an artist that puts themselves in the art, basically, and then like paints himself funny or pretends to torture themselves or something. It's supposed to be a gag. Lydia's a goth medium girl thing. Because goth was really big in the early 90s, all the way through the 90s, really. Probably because there was an awful lot of depressed kids around. And they were all on Prozac by the late 90s. All of them. They probably didn't need it, most of them, but, we need to like, turn everybody into a zombie. So that by 1999, they'll just be walking around like zombies. The stratosphere. But yeah. And I didn't see the Netflix Wednesday Addams show. I think I saw the pilot, and that's it. I didn't watch the rest of it. But the original OG one in the 90s, which isn't the OG one, that's a remake. The 90s Brady Bunch and the 90s Addams Family and the 90s Bunch were all remakes. The OG one, well, was done in the 60s. Addams Family and the Munsters came out at the same time in the 60s. And they were, it's a different cast entirely. So no, the OG 90s one, all the millennials will remember. That's from the 90s. Or actually the X Generation will remember, was Christina Ricci as Wednesday. Christopher Lloyd as Uncle Fester. In the sequel. But yes, and it had the late great Raul Julia as Mr. Adams Gomez. Yeah. Oh man. His last movie was Street Fighter 2. M. Bison. Bizarre. Anyway, so yeah, Keaton and everybody in Winona, they seem to be having a lot of fun doing this movie. They probably laughed their butts off during the production. It was probably hilarious. There's even sort of nods to Stranger Things, but not quite. Kinda. Yeah, he's a ghost. Yeah. How can he kiss her though? The kid is a ghost. It turns out, and it's like, if he's a ghost, then how? Yeah. How does that physically manifest like that? But I guess since Beetlejuice can manifest himself into reality, they can. So just this is Demogorgon powers or something. But yeah, okay, fine. I like that they was it the father or the grandfather? He apparently got eaten by a shark, and they had the remains at the end. So like they have his remains walking around without a head. It's like talking. For some reason, it can talk without a head. His remains walking around. I know. That's pretty graphic and rated R right there. His remains. Top half of him is gone. Ow! But yes. The Soul Train. Yeah, they seem to be obsessed with the Soul Train, and they're obsessed with at times the Day-O song in MacArthur Park at the end. And what was kind of funny about that is somebody in the audience thought it was the Jurassic Park song that Weird Al did. It's the other way around. Jurassic Park Weird Al parody is a spoof of MacArthur Park. It's a parody. Kind of like how, like, when back in the day, Mark's Cards thought that They Might Be Giants in the Spaceship, the Silver Spaceship, the Lions on the Phone was the original song and not a spoof of a song called In the Jungle. The Mighty Jungle. The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Yeah. Kind of like that. This other guy was like, Jurassic Park thing? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's a Weird Al spoof. Oh. It's not the original. Because they kept doing the song. There's a whole... They have a wedding sequence. I won't give away who's married. But they have a wedding sequence in it. And they lip sync the MacArthur Park song. It's... all of it is in the movie. It becomes a musical at one point. Which, yeah, Tim Burton. Sure, yeah. Yeah. Funny thing is, I don't think they were on anything when they thought of this. I think they just decided to have a musical number near the end of it. Now, if ever they wanted to remake Little Shop of Horrors, they probably shouldn't. But if they ever want to remake it again, because the '80s one was a remake of Little Shop of Horrors, they should, because there was a '60s one. But the guy that did Bucket of Blood. So this is a creature feature. Technically, it's a creature feature review as well. It's a unofficial creature feature review as well. So yeah, it's that too. But yeah, if they ever remake Little Shop of Horrors, they shouldn't. But if they do, Tim Burton is your director for that movie. Tim Burton. That'd be who would be directing a remake of that if they did one. They probably will. They seem to be recycling everything. But they may not do that remake of Blade after all. Little bird. No. They shouldn't, though. We don't need to see a remake of Blade. It's fine the way it is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so, yeah, they don't need a Beetlejuice 3 necessarily, if not just to use the name 3 times and have the movie disappear. It'd be kind of funny. Yeah. Beetlejuice. Yeah, so I don't want to give away points. Yeah. Was it 4 stars? Almost? Yeah, almost. I think the critics are generally liking it. I think the audience is generally liking it. So, yeah, 80%. Solid 80%. It's after all this time, if you're going to make a sequel, why not make it a good script with good character development and good motivations and stuff, and play with that whole world and And some might say the trailer was a little misleading because scenes were cut together to make it look like people were talking to like the daughter and the boyfriend. But that's fine. That's not, they probably shouldn't have shown the spill the guts in the face thing. Although in the trailer, what's weird about they have the other scene with the, don't ever say his name, she says it to the daughter. But then minutes later, it's the boyfriend that she says the other thing to, and they get sucked into the other world. So there's two different scenes, and they're minutes apart. However, the scene with the spill your guts and the face is immediately after those two scenes. Then they go to Beetlejuice's little wayward station thing, and he interrogates the boyfriend of the Lydia's character. And that's when he does that. He does those two things, one right after the other. He goes like, you gotta spill your guts like this. Wow, And then he goes, oh, what's going on? This is scary. And he's all, that isn't scary. This is. It's like, okay, that's all. Those two scenes are right next to each other. 2 moments. He's just like throwing out different things to gross the guy out. And of course, being that he's freaked out, he immediately vomits. Because he would. Because he'd be like, just so you know, according to Mark's cards, cats is not technically furries. Neither was the remake, the movie live action movie. They're not furries. They're people in cosplay pretending to be cats. It's not furries. Yes. So anyway, Beetlejuice. That's a very random, but the very random review. Don't want to give it away. I'm not doing a later review. I'm not doing an in-depth analysis. That doesn't need to be one.